Okay, guys. Hi. So, I want to make sure
That's when your
that
eyes are
I'm doing this
open.
right. So,
Open, like you're surprised or shocked. Just adds more expression into the eye. So you can change the maximum to 2 or 1.5 as a lot of people like to do. Just press OK, and then your dot should turn to the middle. And it tells you right here that's at 1.
okay, this is what we're gonna do. Add 3 key points. This is just gonna be a regular one. This needs to be surprised. So we need to flip these two. This needs to go. We need to change this to I forgot how she did it. She just showed us. I'm so silly. Edit parameter, that's what it was. Puzzle. I should have just started with her stuff. Valid. I'm just gonna. You don't have anything with it now.
Open, like you're surprised or shocked, confusing. So first we're gonna rig the eye opening. Just a simple eye opening and closing. You might notice that my default dot is in the middle of my line, while yours might be at one end. This is because if you right click and click edit parameter, my right
Okay, this actually might not be hard as much as I think. So what we're gonna do is just we're gonna delete it. The heck did I do? Okay, watch this. Now all we're gonna do is go to right eye open. Add a parameter. Go to 2. And hit OK. I think I gotta really restart the whole thing. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna copy this whole tutorial. Yeah, we did that. Hiding layers. We did this.
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
what we're gonna do is rig this entire eye, and then we're gonna copy it and flip it over to the other eye so it's symmetrical. If your eyes are both completely super different in both shape and form and just everything,
Because I'm scared. I'm really scared. What if I do this? Like, I'm just gonna restart, like, for real, from everything. And that's okay. That is okay. Like, it just makes sense for me to restart. I know I didn't do a question of the day. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. But I'm just gonna... I restarted it all. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab the parts that I do know from the other lady, and then come to the eyes and do it from here. And then we're gonna go from there, basically. Or we could learn from here. But I like how the head was moving. I don't know, we're gonna try.
the UGC video for your business? Find me and many other skilled creators on Fiverr, or you
Everything yet? Within a month. You can also just pay 14 USD to use the pro version for a month. I pay around 90 bucks a year, unfortunately, but it is worth it for me. I also mumble a lot, so I'm putting captions on this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so here we are in Live2D Cubism Editor, not the
Yay.
viewer, we use that after. Your setup might look a little different from mine. So first we're gonna put in our PSD. So you go up to File, press Open, and then try to find your folder wherever you put your PSD in, and then just import that into Live2D. This is gonna ask what resolution you want to view your art in. They usually recommend half. If your laptop or computer can't handle too much, half is good. I'm gonna do full scale so it's easier to see everything. Okay, so importing it in, we see everything loading, and it might look a mess. Especially if you have a lot of clipping layers like me. When you import something to Live2D, it doesn't automatically clip everything yet. So we have to manually clip them. So let's do that first, just to clean up everything so it looks better. So you can click on the face. You might have something blocking your face. If you hover over something, it'll tell you what you're selecting. For example, I want to get this hair one right here, but if my hoge was a little too big and I couldn't find a right place to find it under my cursor, you can right click on it and then go to object at cursor, and it'll show you everything that's under where you just clicked. And then I can click my face. And then under the part sections is where your PSD layers are. So it's formatted like your PSD. So I'm gonna put all my face shadows on first. So I'm selecting my face skin, and I'm gonna collect the ID, and I'm gonna control copy it, and then my blush and everything that goes onto that, I'm gonna select that all, go to clipping ID, paste in the ID of my face skin, press enter, and it will clip onto my face skin.
Okay, cool. Control C. I remember this part was a little glitchy. Didn't do anything. Oh, it worked. Okay. And then
now you just do that for everything else you have clipped, like the eyes and shadows and such.
okay, cool. So I gotta go to teeth. I know, guys. I literally had to restart because I was confused on the first person, and it's okay. There we go. Bottom mouth, top mouth. I think these are alone. And then I zoom out.
Okay, once you have everything clipped, you're gonna want to save.
Okay, that part is really confusing. I'm supposed to clip everything? I'm confuzzled.
Save your file. So you can hit Control S to save, or just go to File and click Save or Save As.
File and save. Okay.
As, I'm gonna click Save As. Then I would suggest making a new folder that has your PSD and your .cmo3 file. That's the file Yt uses to edit everything, and just put them all into that one folder. I have one here already, so I'm just gonna save over it. And that'll pop up, you can just close that.
I logged off work and decided that tonight I am putting in minimal effort for the rest of the night. I did feel a little...
Make sure you're pressing Control S throughout your entire process. You don't want to lose any progress just in case something happens. Next, we're gonna organize our parameters so it's a lot easier to look through them all. Your parameters are under your parameter tab. These are all the default ones that Live2D has, and they're already tied to the parameters connected to VTube Studio, so we don't need to change them too much. How I usually like to organize them is I make a folder, and then I will name it after the group of parameters I'm putting into it. For example, this one's going to be the angles. I'm going to select angle X, and then shift click, put all of these in here. And then to make it easier for when I'm searching through the parameters,
That's so smart.
I make a new parameter, and I will name this something a little flashy. I put brackets, I put a bunch of dashes. Then I'll do the same name that I did for the folder. Press OK, and then it adds a new parameter. I'll put that at the top of these. This just makes it a lot easier for when you're viewing your parameters in a different format. You'll see it later.
Okay. The little dashes and whatever. Brackets.
But trust me, it's awesome. So you can do that for all of these, and then once you're done,
That's too much work. Dash. Bracket. I bracket dash. Dashes, rowel, and more dash. Okay, sorry guys, I had to make sure I was doing everything right on my end. So sorry. Okay. You click up. Stoop. Stoop. There's a gnat. Easy. This isn't even close.
I like to right click on the folder and set group color. And I like to make them all rainbow. Pretend I put these all into folders. However, you can skip this step if you already have a preset set of parameters made. This is something I'll go over near.
There we go. Mouth. And then add the little dash. Mouth. And more dash. Boom. Okay, guys. So, what I'm going to do is probably keep this going. I don't know if the cheeks are going to be within the mouth. Most likely. Oh, that's how you do it. There we go, guys. Okay, but the angles is literally has to be the same. Just to go in that little... Yep. We got everything in the little folder. And then I'm gonna do a folder for body, and I'm gonna just name it body. And then we're gonna add a parameter, she said, and then little dashes. And then this is hair. Add the parameter, call it hair. We'll add the dashes. Call it hair. And more dashes. Boom. Move that here. Open the hair file. Give shift. And go up here. And now it's in there. Alright guys, I'm gonna be right back. I'll be right back. And yeah. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry. I had to handle something real quick. I'm gonna have to be right back again. I actually gotta handle something else as well, but basically guys, I'm restarting and I already restarted, so we're going to continue on this amazing journey. I added the folders, everything is in a folder. So now, she said all we gotta do is color it.
Do the same name that I did for the folder.
Yes.
Press OK, and then it adds a new parameter. I'll put that at the top of these. This just makes it a lot easier for when you're viewing your parameters in a different format. You'll see it later, but trust me, it's awesome. So you can do that for all of these, and then once you're done, I like to right click on the folder and set group color, and I like to make them all rainbow. Pretend I put these all into folders. However, you can skip this step if you already have a preset set of parameters made. This is something I'll go over near the end of the rigging.
Okay, but I gotta do this part. They go around. I really had to look at the color wheel for rainbow, even though I could low-key look at my character. Yellow. I'm being for real though. If I just look at my character, it's literally the whole rainbow. But that's literally on purpose though, because if you think about it, all I do is draw, and I thought, why not literally just do it that way, like colors of the rainbow. So yeah, I think it's teal. And then the hair. And then that's gonna be called, that's like indigo, right? Like indigo is like, I don't know, but we're gonna do like purple because I like the, there we go. Rainbow, guys, it's highlighters. Okay, cool.
But usually once you're done rigging, you'll have a ton of other parameters and other physics settings that you've already made. And you can actually export them all to put into other models, so you don't have to remake those parameters or physics settings again. You can ignore this part right now if you don't have any, but you can go up to modeling here, and then hover over bulk setting of model parameters. Now,
We're gonna modeling here. Bulk settings though.
you can export your current settings right now if you want. These will keep all of your folders and keep all of your labels and extra parameters. And then later on, once you finish your model, you can re-export it and overwrite that export if you'd like. But I'm gonna import my presets that I've already made and delete all my existing ones. Now here's my parameters preset. I'm gonna open that, and then voila, all of my parameter presets are now in.
Take your business from launch to legendary with Shopify. Sell more with the world's best converting checkout and turn
And I have a lot more, so don't put it all into folders. Now I'll export if you'd like, but I'm gonna import my presets that I've already made and delete all my existing ones. Now here's my parameters preset. I'm gonna open that, and then voila, all of my parameter presets are now in. And I have a lot more, so don't feel overwhelmed about this right now. I'll go through it as we rig. Now I'm just gonna quickly color everything because it doesn't actually save the colors. Okay. I'll just do a quick view of mine. So this is how all my angles organized. I actually have my angles and my body angles in here. You'll see why they're called inputs later, but just close that. And then once we have our parameters all organized, we're gonna organize all of our layers in Live2D. We're gonna go over to the Deformer tab.
Okay, okay, she lost me. Because this other girl did not do this.
And then to make it easier for when I'm searching through the parameters, I make a new parameter. And now it adds a new parameter. It makes it a lot easier filter instead. You already have a preset set of parameters made. This is something I'll go over near the end of the rigging. But usually once you're done rigging, you'll have a ton of other parameters and other physics settings that you've already made. And you can actually export them all to put into other models. So you don't have to you'll keep all of your folders.
Oh, this is for people who already had this stuff done.
We're gonna go over to the deformer tab.
I
Now
play,
it's
okay.
laid out in the same
Control
order
S.
as everything's layered on your folders and the parts, but there's no folders. This is where we put all of our warps and deformers that make everything move. Usually I like to start by organizing all of these into their own sections, so it's a lot easier and it's a lot more organized.
Yes.
You're gonna want to be organized in Live 3D, trust me. However, this process...
Yeah, I'll be back, guys. I'll be back. Hold on, I'm so sorry. guys. I'm sorry. I just got back. I literally had to make sure everything was okay. And everything is, so I fixed everything. 10 out of 10, literally. Alright. Now I'm just going to... Hold on. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything if anyone said anything. There we go. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we're just going to finish up what we're doing here. So yeah, I forgot what she said.
This will be really hard if you're using the free version because you have a limited amount of warps. So if you're using the free version, you can ignore this for now. If you're not and you have unlimited warps, this is what we're gonna do. I'd go all the way top to my very first layer, scroll all the way down to the very bottom layer, hold down shift, select my very last layer, and then we're gonna go up to here.
Okay. Go all the way up to my very, very first layer. Hold shift, go down to my very, very bottom layer. Go up to here, and then she said
To the create a warp deformer. Click it. We're gonna create a warp deformer. You can ignore all of this. We're just worried about the name. And I like to call this entire body because it's the entire body. Now you just create that, and I'll put this into a warp folder basically. You open that and close that. And everything in this warp folder, if you have it selected, you can move. But since everything's in this folder, I can move like this. And then if something wasn't in the folder, I wouldn't be able to move.
So she said
We're gonna create a warp deformer. You can ignore all of this. We're just worried about the name. And I like to call this entire body because it's the entire body. Now you just create that, and I'll put this into a warp folder.
okay. What if I delete it? And then I do this. Shift all the way down to back here. And then hit warp deformer. Call this the whole body. And then hit create. It's not letting me. What is this? I don't even know what that is, to be honest. I'm just gonna drag it and see what it is. It's not closing anything else. Not working. What even is this? I'm trying to figure out what layer 13 is. I don't even know, because let me see.
We're just worried about the name. I like to call this, if you're not and you have unlimited warps, this is what we're gonna do. I'd go all the way top to my very first layer, scroll all the way down to the very bottom layer, hold down shift, select my very last layer.
Okay. Performer. Project. Performer. I have an idea. Top layer. Shift. All the way down. Shift. Now everything should be selected. And then you say, since everything is selected, we're calling this.
And then we're gonna go up.
Actually, wait. She literally did that, but there's also this one. Control A, select everything. But it didn't. Okay. Shift. Shift. No, it selected literally everything. And now you can see that's like that. Okay, cool. I did it,
Here
guys.
to the create a warp deformer. Click it. You're gonna create a warp deformer. You can ignore all of this. We're just worried about the name. And I like to call this entire body because it's the entire body. Now you just create that, and I'll put this into a warp folder basically. You can open that and close that. And everything in this warp folder, if you have it selected, you can move. But since everything's in this folder, I can move like this.
Since everything is in this folder, I can move like... This sucks. Okay. I can. Okay. Cool. Cool.
And then if something wasn't in the folder, I wouldn't be able to move it. For example, if I took out like all of my hair, and then I grab that warp deformer and move everything, the hair does not move. So I'm just gonna do that for everything in this entire body deformer. Another easy way to do it is if you click and drag and then grab everything on the face, like that, it will select everything that you just put over that box. However, it does pick up things you wouldn't want. For example, it picks up the entire body warp. I'm going to hold down Control and select that to deselect it. And then it will also pick up parts that are not part of the head. For example, the body, the neck.
Yeah, okay. Oh my god, Control Z.
and the next shadow. And now I have just the head.
Okay, that was a lot. Now what?
I'm gonna put a warp deformer on that and just call it head.
Okay, put a warp deformer on that and call it head. Great. Nuts. Warp deformer. Yes, thank God. Okay, cool. You know what I'm forgetting? The back hair. Okay, now they're all in one parent layer. Okay, now, what do we do? Hello, welcome to the stream.
Now I'm basically just gonna do the same thing I did for my layers here. I separate everything into different folders. Like my ears are in a different folder, my hair is in a different folder, my eyes are in a different folder. I'm just gonna
Oh, that's in the part section. Oh yeah, everything else is in a different folder.
copy those onto my warps here. I'm gonna speed up the process a little bit. Okay,
The heck? Okay. So in the deformer, I just select the folder thing and put it there. This is so hard. I'm not gonna lie, this is very difficult, guys. I don't know. Do we have to? If you guys think about it, do we really have to? I mean, it'll be more organized, but... I think... We don't need this. Or that. Okay guys, so now she said just make it into the layers, like folder. So she said to copy and paste it.
select it. And then we'll also pick up parts that are not part of the head. For example, the body, the neck, and the neck shadow. And now I have just the head. I'm gonna put a warp deformer on that and just call it head.
Okay. We did
Now
that
I'm
part.
basically just gonna do the same thing I did for my layers here. I separate everything into different folders. Like my ears are in a different folder, my hair is in a different folder, my eyes are in a different folder. I'm just gonna copy those onto my warps here. I'm gonna speed up the process a little bit.
So copy. Wait. Copy. Yes. Jesus. Drag this part into here. I'm very confused now. I wasn't told to do this before, so I'm not really gonna worry about it actually. Just gonna delete that part. And we're gonna put the wings away. Okay, we're not really worried about that yet. We still have the... Yep, we do. Okay, cool. Okay, next.
Okay, I'm finished. Here's an overview of my warps. We have the entire body, and under the entire body, we have the head, hips, torso, neck, legs, and arms. And then under the head, I have hair, mouth, brows, eyes, a face,
I would
and my
love to do
ears.
it this way, but
You can separate these even further.
know
I
how.
will later. And then save everything. Okay.
Okay.
Now we have
Save everything. Cool.
everything set up to rig, everything nice and organized and clean. So let's get to learning how to rig. We are gonna start with the eyes. I always teach people how to do eyes first because I think it's a good overview of how to use most of the tools. So we're gonna zoom on the face here, and then in your parts sections, you can click on this arrow to close all the folders. You might have to click it a couple times, but then you can open up your folders and then find your front hair, and let's hide that with the eye icon so we can see the eyes better, just in case your eyes are covered or whatever. And then we're gonna zoom in on just one of the eyes.
Okay. I gotta go to my front here now. What the heck is this? Oh, that's an eyebrow. Why is the head in the... There we go. I was about to say. Okay, she said go to the hair and go to the front here. Go to the front here and hide it. So we did that, basically. And now?
What we're gonna do is rig this entire eye, and then we're gonna copy it and flip it over to the other eye so it's symmetrical. If your eyes
Yay.
are both completely super different in both shape and form and just everything, that won't work for you.
I guess we'll
If
do
your
the
eyes
left
are just
eye.
the same, even if you have different iris colors or whatnot, as long as everything else outside the pupil is the same, it will be pretty easy to just flip it over, and then you'll have two eyes rigged, super symmetrical, super easy, taking the time of rigging just one eye. So go over to wherever you put your eyes in, and first I like to separate my left and right eye.
Okay, my left and right are already separated, so I'm fine.
Putting both eyes into their own folder also helps with the reflection process. But
Okay.
let's focus on one eye now. Either one works. Whichever you're more comfortable looking at. I always do this eye. And they're also going to open up the eye parameter folder. Mine might...
So select the eye I'm working on. I'm working on the left eye right now. Okay. Go to the eye parameter folder. And then
look overrolling right now, but we'll go through the basics first and I'll show you my other additional parameters that you can add in yourself. So right now, we're looking at the left eye of the model. A
Okay.
good rule of thumb is, if you're looking at the model and it's on your right side, it's the opposite side for the model. This is why I like to name my layers with arrows instead of left or right, because it gets confusing. So first, we're gonna rig the eye opening. Just a simple eye opening and closing. You might notice that my default dot is in the middle of my line, while yours might be at one end. This is because if you right click and click edit parameter, my ranges are different. Your maximum is probably just 1. I changed mine to a maximum of 2. You don't have to if you don't want to. Basically, the 0 means your eye is closed. 1, the default, is when your eye is just open. And then for 2, or you can put 1.5, that's when your eyes are open, like you're surprised or shocked. It just adds more expression into the eye. So you can change the maximum to 2 or 1.5, as a lot of people like to do. Just press OK, and then your dot should turn to the middle. And it tells you right here that it's at 1. If we go over here, it's at 0. If we go here, it's at 2. So before we can rig any of these to open and close, we need to add art mesh onto it. Select your art, any layer will do, and you can click on the auto mesher, and the automatic mesh generator should pop up. And you should have 3 presets: standard, little, and heavy. Usually I'd go with standard, so if you just click on it, it will make a little mesh. There'll be white dots everywhere, and if you've seen other rigging videos, they get pretty complex. But for my first little wash through of meshes, I select the top, hold down shift, select everything in this one eye, auto mesh it, put everything in standard. And then we'll get a bunch of white dots. Then I'll go back to my top lash, and we'll just get the dots of the top lash. But we're gonna rig the main lash part first. So usually the eye, and then we'll get a bunch of white dots. Then I'll go back to my top lash, and we'll just get the dots of the top lash. But we're gonna rig the main lash part first. So usually the eye is pretty detailed. We're deforming a lot of things, making a lot of the art move in complex ways. So we want our art mesh to be a lot more complex. You can simply just do the auto mesher again and do a heavy deformation. Just
Okay, I'm sorry,
add
guys.
a lot.
Sorry, I've been very quiet because this is low-key hard, so I'm focusing.
More white dots closely compacted together. Your auto meshing might be a little off if your art is not a good resolution. But we can also manually add mesh if yours isn't working or if you don't like the look of this. The more you rig, the better you'll understand how meshes work and how you'll want your own mesh to look. So we can go to the manual mesh editor, click on that, and then it'll solo out your piece of art. You can grab your eraser tool, and you can also hold down B and then click and drag left to make it smaller, and drag
In Albion, no matter where you go
Add.
or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps you'll
over to the right to make it bigger, and then we're just gonna erase all of those little dots. Then we're gonna select this plus button one to add points. And usually I like to keep them pretty close. We're just gonna add a ring.
Okay, so manual, go to here, and hold B, and then you erase all these little dots. And then you go here, and then you copy what she's doing. Guys, I'm doing this with my mouse, so please, if you guys know any more tips, let me know.
Ring around the entire thing. And then close it off. You can see all these blue lines. But we're gonna want another line in here. If you have a tab, tablet of some kind, it's great to use this when you're adding mesh manually. And
Okay.
then we can go over here to auto connect, and it will turn all those blue lines into the red line, so it becomes actual mesh. And then you can edit the points as you like. Like over here, it's a little too close.
Okay.
And I don't like these parts right here where I have my little lashes poking out. So I'm gonna take the minus pointer tool just to pinpoint which lines I don't want. And then add my pointer tool back in and put in the dots where I do want them. And then auto connect and fix it. If you have art that's outside of the mesh, it will not appear on the model. Which is great if you accidentally have something like a little dot on your layer somewhere. When you auto mesh it, you'll see it somewhere. And then you can just erase it. And then once you press the check button, that little piece that you might have accidentally wiped on your canvas will be gone. But it's better to just make sure you don't have any of them because it will get complicated when we get to the texture atlas, which comes way later. So now we have our lash all nicely meshed, and we're gonna add a little path tool. So over here, if you click on deform path edit, you can make your own little path. You're gonna put dots in pieces that you need dots. You'll understand better once you get used to it. As a general rule of thumb, I like to do 5, 1 right in the middle, 2 at the ends, and then 2 more in the center. You can add more or add less when you start editing it, but for now, once you're done with that, go back to your arrow tool. Now we're gonna actually make it close and open. So having your lash selected, go to your respective eye, whichever side you're on, open. You're gonna add 3 keyforms. You'll only need 2 if you only did it up to a maximum of 1, but now I'm gonna start rigging. So at 1, as I said, this is the default. So this is when your eye is open. And when it goes to 0, this is when we want your eyes to close. So we have this red box here. If you go to the center, you'll get this move arrow.
Game of Thrones King's Road is now available on both PC and mobile with Google Play.
I need to buy
You hold
premium
down shift,
or membership.
and go up and down and left and right. It will follow an XY axis so that it stays in a straight line. So I'm gonna hold down shift and drag it down to a general area where I want the eyes closed. And then I wanna make this form into a closed eye shape. Now, this red box is gonna get annoying and sometimes...
Okay. Hold down shift. Oh, it's even cuter actually.
Times you might not be able to click on certain things because of this red dot. So this is a bounding box and we're gonna hide it. So to hide it, you can just press this X button. Or if you want a shortcut, you can go to File, Settings, Keyboard Shortcuts, go to Show, scroll down until you find Show/Hide Bounding Box. I have mine set to Control H. Just click on it and then put whatever keybind you'd like. And then press OK. And then your keybind should be able to toggle it. So once you have it toggled off, you can move these to make your closed eye shape.
Okay,
You
well, I'm
can
gonna
do
do
a
that.
free-handed bounding box. And then I want to make this form into a closed eye shape. Now, this red box is going to get annoying, and sometimes you might not be able to click on certain things because of this red dot. So this is a bounding box, and we're going to hide it. So to hide it, you can just press this X button. Or if you want a shortcut, you can go to File, Settings, Keyboard Shortcuts.
Okay. Files, settings. Where's settings? I don't know, guys. I'm scared. Oh, keyboard shortcuts. And then go to
Show,
go to show.
scroll down until you find Show/Hide.
Control H. Control H. Hit OK. And then when I hit Control H. Yay!
Bounding box. I have mine set to Control H. Just click on it and then put whatever keybind you'd like. And then press OK. And then your keybind should be able to toggle it. So once you have it toggled off, you can move these to make your closed eye shape. You can do it free-handed. Usually I like to start with holding down shift and moving everything so it stays sort of aligned. And then I freehand stuff. The shape I want. And then back on your parameters, you can actually open and close your eyes if you drag.
Okay. So then I'm gonna hit the control shift. Trying to get the eye shape you want. And then she said,
Drag your little dot.
yeah.
You can see if it moves well. See which parts you want to edit. See, I don't like this part here, the straight line I have here. I want it more curved down. So you can do that manually by clicking the dots. But it would be a lot smoother if you use this brush tool. You see here it has two circles, inner circle and outer circle. The center circle is the brush stiffness, which you see here. I have mine at 30%. Basically anything in that center doesn't get warped too much. For example, if I grab all this, it will grab all that. But if I just use the outer edge of the circle, it will only move a little bit. So use the outer edge of the circle to make that line a little more smooth and cut it down.
Okay, so we're gonna go here. She has it at 30%, so we're gonna do something like that too. Oh, it is at 30. Okay, kinda add a little curve. And then what?
Now, if you want to see all the art without all the mesh and everything, so you can see if it actually looks decent and have a better look at it, you can actually hide and unhide the mesh. I have mine set to a keybind. Again, if you go to File, Settings,
Yeah, that's too much.
Shortcuts, and go to Show, it would be Hide Selected State. I have mine set to H, but you can set it to whatever you like. And that's a lot easier to see how your art is moving and to see if it's looking the way you want it to look. I'd say that looks pretty good to me. So I'm done with that. And then press H to reappear my mesh. And go back to my pointer tool. Now I'm gonna basically be doing the same thing to everything else. For example, let's copy that entire process to the bottom lash, if you have a bottom lash. Don't forget to put keyframes onto it.
Okay, cool. So bring this to the bottom lash, basically. Lower lash line. And I forgot already. I forgot, but
Selected, located when we get to the texture atlas, which comes way later. So now we have our lash all nicely meshed. Then we're gonna add a little path tool. So over here,
okay. And then she said go to erase, and you erase all of that. And then you go to here and you kind of do the outer edges of it. Not too close. And then she said go here, press that, right? And then she said do auto connect and then adjust to your liking. So we're gonna kind of make this a little closer, just a little bit. At the bottom part. I think the top part's fine. And then you hit yes. And then she said go to here. And then connect. Connect, so connecting this. And these are okay, I guess. So we don't really have to do much. What was the last part? Like shaping it, right?
Red dot. So this is a bounding.
Yeah. Shaping it. Just kind of shape it. I mean, I feel like it's good the way it is.
Box, and we're gonna hide it. So to hide it, you can just press this X button. Or if you want a shortcut and stuff, this brush bottom lash, if you have a bottom. And see if it's looking the way you want it to look. I'd say that looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm done with that. And I do the same thing to my side lash. Mine at 30%. Basically anything in that center doesn't get warped. You can actually hide and unhide the mesh. I am looking the way you want. Copy that entire process to the bottom lash, if you have a bottom lash.
Okay.
Don't forget to put keyframes onto it. So now my bottom lash done. Undo my top lashes, add keyframes. For these, I don't really need to warp them as much. So I'm not going to edit the mesh too much. And I don't need the path deform tool. For example, when I close my eyes, I want my eyelashes tilting down. So I'm going to flip this down with the bounding box.
Wow, that seems more easier. Five is that last one. So what if we do... We'll slash 1. What if we do from 4 all the way up? And then we... I guess we're fine. We don't need to do anything with meshing. All we gotta do is Control H. Control H. And what we can do is literally flip them down. Because they're at the bottom, and kind of just do that. And now with the bottom lash, at this point we could kind of go up. I knew I should have just saved it in the thin one. Trying to go back, but it's not letting me go all the way back. It's fine. Why is it not doing what it needs to do? I'm confused. Like, she said the top lash.
Bottom lash. Don't forget to put keyframes onto it. So now my bottom lash done. Undo my top lashes. Add keyframes. For these, I don't really need to warp them as much, so I'm not.
Keyframes, that's why. That's perfect. Okay. We're gonna control save. We're just gonna save. Because I'm gonna end it here because I just need to. But that's pretty much it for the stream, guys. This is how far we got. for our new progress. And that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I didn't talk as much, but that's pretty much it. Bye bye.